Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah from SarahBookWorm, and today I'll be doing a September wrap-up video. So I know last week I didn't post anything right after I said I was going to post every week. I was just out of town for the weekend, and I also had an exam right before I went. I was trying to get homework done so I wouldn't have to do much homework on my vacation. So time to do a video just unfortunately did not get carved out, but here I am again this week, and it will be a lot more regular from here on out. So with that, as I said, I'm doing a September wrap-up video. I finished 1.5 books for fun, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but considering my busy schedule, I'm pretty proud of that. So I'll be sharing some books that I've been reading for school, or stories and just things I've been reading, because even though I may not have a lot of free time to read fantasy and what I really like reading, doesn't mean I'm not reading still, so I'm going to share some of those with you today as well. So let's dive on in. The first book I finished, and the only book I completely finished this month, was The Gender End by Bella Forrest. So because this is the last book, I can't give you too many details on it because I don't want to spoil anybody who's interested in reading it. Hopefully next week I will have a review on the whole series, spoiler free of course, but it will be a very extensive review of the series. So just to kind of give you a quick idea what this overall series is about. It is a post-apocalyptic society that's based in the US, and essentially they split into two different societies named Matris and Patris. So in Matris it is an extreme matriarchy, and in Patris it's an extreme patriarchy. So it's a very interesting concept, and with that, the main character is Violet Bates. She is a 17-year-old citizen of Matris who is accused of women slaughter. And she is basically given an ultimatum between being put to death or going on this mission for Matris's queen to receive a stolen science project that they've been working on. And it just follows her adventures through a headstrong woman in a more woman-submissive society, and her trying to keep her true identity a secret and follow the rules of Patris, and doesn't succeed very well. And she meets a new character who I just love her with so much that it will be a spoiler, so I'm not telling you their name. But regardless, that's kind of just the series. The whole series overall just talks about more of her adventures and the fact that Matris and Patris kind of collide in a not so good way, and it really has a more realistic portrayal of what a society did split into extreme matriarchy and patriarchy. So that is the first and only full book I read that I finished reading this month. So I was pretty happy with the one book I did read. So that's a good thing at least. So the next book I started reading and currently reading in the month of September is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. If you saw my last video, I introduced a random TBR, and this was the book that came out of it. And so far I'm on page 242. According to my Goodreads, I'm 52% of the way through this book, and so far I am loving it so much. As of right now, it is totally worth the hype that I've been hearing about it. My favorite character is Inej. I think that's how you say her name. I just love her character. She is headstrong and wonderful, doesn't need anybody else, and I love her backstory. It's just wonderful. So far the book is very character driven, but I love good character development, so I love seeing that already in the first half of the book. So far this book is going very well. I honestly want to finish reading it probably within the next week. I have a lot of projects and schoolwork due, so we will see how that works. But hopefully this will be in my October wrap-up video. I'm really hoping, because I am addicted to this already. So there's the progress on this book. And now let's jump into school books. And the second fairy tale I read was Sleeping Beauty. This one didn't have as many shell-shocking moments as Snow White did, and that saves my childhood some, considering Sleeping Beauty was my favorite childhood Disney movie and princess. So with that, I read 4 versions of that one as well, including Grimm's, which kind of ends at happily ever after, and Perrault, I think that's how I say it, it's French. And his version basically goes well after happily ever after and has some Oedipal complex dynamics in that one. So that one was very interesting to read, but nothing that ruined my childhood. So that one was safe. And then I read 10 different versions of Cinderella. That is a lot of Cinderella. And from what I could tell, Cinderella tales can basically be split up into 2 different categories. You have the evil stepmother, and then you also, the next category, you have a lustful, powerful, incestual father that's just trying to get away from. So with that, very interesting. Again, I read the Grimm's Tales and also another one by Perrault. And that one, Perrault's version is called Donkey Skin. I'll just let you Google that and read that one for yourself. Those are kind of the tales involving the incestual father. So with that, it's been very interesting and a very educational experience reading fairy tales. This wasn't what I was initially expecting from the class, but I've really liked it, and this class is probably going to be my EZA class of the semester because I just enjoy it so much, and I'm so passionate about fairy tales, and just knowing so many different versions and where they originate, and some patterns you find that make them Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, the core concepts that really tie these versions together has just been an amazing experience. So next month I'll probably talk more about what I've been reading in that class. And down below, go ahead and let me know what your favorite fairy tale is, and maybe if you've read a version that maybe have ruined it for you, let me know down below. The final book I've been reading for school is Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey. This is from my 19th century British literature class. I'm not as far as I should be in it, to be 100% honest. By next class I need to definitely be finished with volume 1, and then the following I'll be done with volume 2. So with that, I don't know a whole lot about it, except for it is a parody about the Gothic and yet is considered a Gothic novel itself. So that is an aspect I've been looking for, and so far it's providing me at least interesting and new and different. I'm not a huge classics fan, it's just not my cup of tea, but with that I'm still going to do my best to like this because my professor is the biggest Jane Austen fan in the world, I swear, and then also it's nice to try new things, even trying new things isn't quite my style, but it's for class. I probably have to write a paper on this soon, so I gotta at least find concepts that I like so I can run with it in my essay. So that's what I've read for my 19th century British literature class, and a lot of other poems. We have poems by Wordsworth, you have Shelley, and a bunch of others that just have done poems and really short stories that I don't know why I'm still holding this up, and I'm not even talking about that anymore. Whereas the first part of the class is very poetically centered on the poems and the differences in the romanticism period. That word always trips me up. And then I'll be reading Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey. Probably in my next wrap up, I will be done with it. It's for class. I don't have much of a choice. Well, you guys made it to the end of my video. My September reading month wasn't the most eventful, but I did finish at least one book, so that makes me happy, and it was a very good book in my opinion. I'm halfway through Six of Crows, and I'm reading classic fairy tales, and will continue to do so probably until December, and hopefully by the end of October I better have finished Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. So with that, let me know some books you've read in September down below in the comments, And also let me know if there was a fairy tale that you loved and you read a version and it kind of ruined your childhood because of it. So let me know about those down below, and thank you again for watching. I really appreciate all your support. So go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more wrap-ups from me. And also go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you would like to see more of my videos. And thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!